Hello, you're watching Daily News on All News Nigeria. I am Okoyemi Olubemi. Here are the headlines for today. Reactions as Tinubu trends over drug trafficking case. WIKE ridicules DINO MELAYE over governorship ambition. Lagos Assembly stops salaries of government appointees. Welcome back. Now the news. Nigeria's president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu is once again trending over the wrong reasons. An online web publication revealed that Bola Tinubu in 1993 surrendered $460,000 to the United States government over drug trafficking. Following the expose, APC on Tuesday admitted that its candidate and president-elect Bola Tinubu forfeited the actual sum of money to the United States government following the drug trafficking allegation. This was stated in a court document filed by the party before the Presidential Electoral Tribunal in response to a petition filed by the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, who is seeking the annulment of Tinubu's victory in the February 25 election. It was exclusively reported in September 2008 how Tinubu was involved in a white heroin trafficking network which operated in Chicago and some parts of Indiana, led by one Adegboyega Muiz Akonde between 1988 and 1993. The source of the white heroin was identified as one Mr. Lee Andrew Edwards, who was incarcerated for attempting to murder a federal agent while the agent was executing a search warrant on him. In July 26, 1993, before the Honorable Judge Nordberg of the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois, the United States government urged the court to order the forfeiture of funds in Bola Tinubu's accounts. There was probable cause to believe that the funds in Tinubu's First Bank and Citibank accounts represented proceeds of narcotics trafficking or were monies involved in financial transactions in violations of 18 U.S.C. sections 1956 and 1957 and therefore was forfeitable to the U.S. government. However, in a tacit defense of the ownership of the funds, Bola Tinubu averred in court that the funds belonged to himself, his wife K.O. Tinubu, and his surrogate mother Alhaji Mogaji, who is now deceased, and warranted that they had exclusive rights, title, and interest to the funds. As a result, Peter Obi based one of his grounds for the overturning Tinubu's victory on the drug trafficking case. He claimed Tinubu's forfeiture of funds to the U.S. government over drug trafficking allegations shows the former Lagos State governor committed infractions that should disqualify him from running for office in Nigeria. However, in court documents filed to defend its candidates, the APC claimed Tinubu simply surrendered funds in 10 bank accounts opened in his or Compass Finance and Investment Co.'s name. It informed the Presidential Election Petition Court, PEPC, sitting at the Court of Appeal in Abuja, that funds in the two commercial banks' accounts were subject to a civil forfeiture proceeding. It also argued that Tinubu's forfeiture to the U.S. government, which lasted 29 years, was no longer a valid basis for challenging his eligibility to run in the presidential election. It also noted that the matter had been investigated before, but nothing came out of it. In other news, Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State has laughed off Senator DINO MELAYE's Kogi governorship ambition, saying that the People's Democratic Party (PDP) chieftain does not have what it takes to occupy such a position. The governor was speaking during a media chat with selected journalists in Port Harcourt on Tuesday.
There's no way, if what they are planning happens in Kogi State, where they are toying, they are giving opportunity to DINO MELAYE. And this is what I tell people. You started to fail first. When you give DINO that ticket, you know he won't win in Kogi State. He does not have what it takes to be a governor at all. It's not by coming to add drama on television. No, it's not that. It's not by coming to arrest to abuse the wicked. It's not that. And you want to win an election, or you just want to present a candidate, and tomorrow you come and tell people, Nigeria, oh, we were rigged. Every time we were rigged.
According to Governor WIKE, if the PDP gives a ticket to the former Kogi West lawmaker, the party is doomed to lose the exercise. The governor says he won't campaign for the PDP if the party gives its governorship ticket to Senator DINO. He further accused the party's leadership of trying to manipulate the process in favor of DINO MELAYE. Reacting, DINO MELAYE, in a statement issued on Thursday, said WIKE's rift with him was birthed by his inability to support the governor's presidential ambition. DINO said WIKE ought to be planning how to survive after he quit the government house on May 29.
I want Nigerians to know that WIKE was my biggest supporter when I ran for governorship in 2019. WIKE was my biggest supporter financially and even otherwise. Apart from funding me to the tune of hundreds of dollars in the last governorship election in 2019, he provided his private jet to drop me in Kogi on the day of the primary. You know, his jet dropped me at Obajana airstrip, understand, from Port Harcourt on the day of the primary. That's to show the level, magnitude, and intensity of his support and belief in me in 2019. So the man who saw competence, who saw capacity, and even invested his money in that project, today, in 2023, is saying that I am not qualified. The only explanation to that is psychotic disorderliness. The only explanation to that is mental fatigue. The only explanation to that is that he's having some problem upstairs, because you cannot fund a project few years ago to the extent that your money, your material resources, everything, it was calling me on the day of the primary, what is happening? Have we made it? Have we not made it? So the same champion you saw some few years ago, today, because I am not a bootlicker, because I have refused to work in alliance with your myopic agenda, because I have refused to corroborate your intellectual stagnancy, you now say that the same person you sponsored some years ago today is no longer qualified to be governor. I am more qualified to be governor than Nyesom Wike. To the glory of God, I have 9 university degrees. I have been a member of the House of Representatives.
DINO MELAYE had on March 29 declared interest in the Kogi governorship race scheduled to take place on November 11, 2023. Finally, on the news, Lagos State House of Assembly yesterday stopped the salaries of all government appointees who were employed by the executive arm and withdrew the appointment letters given to them without the approval of the House. This is the second time in a week that the House has cited gross misconduct by the executive arm of government.
On appointees who were given appointments without appearing before this noble House of Assembly, and a clearance was not issued. Section 196, subsection 2 of the Federal Republic of Nigeria Constitution as authored provides that the number of such advisors and their remuneration and allowances shall be as prescribed by law.
The Speaker of the House, Mr. Midashiru Obasa, who said this during plenary, also summoned the Head of Service, Mr. Muri Okunola, the Accountant General, Shefiu Muritala, and Commissioner for Establishment, Training and Pensions, Ajibola Ponle, to appear before it over the failure to seek approval of the legislators before appointing members of boards and agencies as stipulated by the Constitution. And that's it on today's news. To keep up with All News Nigeria, kindly follow us on all social media platforms displayed on the screen. I am Opeyemi Olugbemi. Do have a lovely day.